That is the primary subject. Okay? And also, before we go any further, Angry Man made this point, and I want to second this point. Where is it written? Where is it a law that you cannot name your kids whatever the fuck you want to name your kids? Also, too, now I've heard Coach Greg talk about this same shit about how that's up to you if you want to abide by this idea of society gets to decide who you have kids with and when you have children and where you have children. Nigga, if you want to go to China and have some kids over there in China and leave them there and take care of them from America, you can do that shit. All right. If you want to have kids in Costa Rica and go visit them kids, and when they're of age, you can come to America and go to school. Matter of fact, you can make sure that the kids are born here and then they go back to Costa Rica. They have dual citizenship. You can do that shit. If you want to start over, start a new family, yo, that is one of the beautiful things about being a man. But the thing is that you got to realize too, there are also men that want to keep this system going where men stay asleep, where men don't move based off their best interest, where they move in the interest of other people. And that shit gotta stop, bro. That gotta stop. But anyway, so Anton finna pull up the receipts real quick.
Care about what the audience thinks. And you know how y'all know that I'm objective? I'm gonna tell y'all how y'all know that I'm objective. The way that y'all know that I'm objective is because I go back and forth with you guys. I fight with y'all in the chat. And what do I say? Don't censor nobody just because they got a difference of opinion, just because they may come at me. We don't block people just because. We fight here. We fight in real life because that's what people do. They argue their point. They argue their differences. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, try to censor people. I don't believe in censorship. Let me say that again for the people in the back. I don't believe in censorship. And I don't pander. I don't pander. So when Brian told me, because I wanted to know, and see, I didn't feel the need to have to show this on a interview. He said what he said. When Brian told me, he said, man, I reached out to them and they act like they didn't want to get the other side of the story. I know that they was pandering to women. I know that they pandering to their audience. That's what you got to do when you're trying to get to the.
That's an important context to add to that whole perspective. How Mark Lamont Hill's carrying on. He's also doing theater, and he also. I feel like he performed. Like it's all like everything he does is like performative. Everything he does, it's like he has to play into this whole character of basically what you saw in the Candace Owens interview. No, I'm sorry, but in the Candace Owens debate, where it's like you're playing a character. It's almost like you're going along with this whole script of, like, for example, like, well, you know, I don't know how to put it, but the only way I could describe this is it's aggressive progressism, where it's like it's like progressism or being progressive for the sake of being progressive, not because it's time, not because certain ideas are outdated. This progressive, there was never a need to have men and women's bathrooms, never a need for that. All right, that was never like necessary. That to this day, it has not helped children, has not helped the world be a better place by letting niggas go to a girl's bathroom.
And so that's fair, right? So when you hear them say stuff like this, well, I'm just going to give you the insight on why you should look at it a little bit differently when y'all hearing them talk, okay? Let me continue to play some more.
Cast so he can attempt to be a guest.
Who caught that message?
I want to let Mr. McKnight know I have never received that message. You must have sent that to like the pod page.
You maybe
or something. Because if you would have sent that to me, we would have handled that in a heartbeat. You know, I got you singing at my wedding. Maybe you don't know.
Not anymore. No more.
Why not?
That's usually a tactic, right? When people want to get off of the responsibility of being a reasonable source or a credible person that has conversations about issues that go on in the culture, they'll start to joke. Yeah, man, I'm just singing at my wedding. You know, they do the joke thing, right? Ha ha ha, jokey joke. Cool. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
So you know, they go in and they do all of the jokey joke. I didn't really know, whatever, so on and so forth. What's the point of having a page if you
All right, real quick. I'm gonna go ahead. So basically, by this point, they played a sound bite where Joe Budden says, Brian McKnight did an interview on Anton Daniels show, and then when Mark Lamont Hill, when it's his turn to, how can I say, speak on the subject, he makes it a point to say Anton's name wrong. He calls him Antoine Dodson. I think that's one of the rudest things you can ever do is try to say a name wrong on purpose. People's names are so important. I remember my homeboy, he had this idea for an anime that was about the main character trying to find his name. And it was about the importance of your name and the meaning of names, right? So whenever you do that, first of all, that's not classy. And you already show me from the beginning that you don't have good intentions, that you're not coming to the conversation in good faith. All right? So basically, Mark Lamont Hill tried to front as though he didn't know who Anton was. Bro, we are in the age of receipts. And one thing I love about Anton and CGA, nigga, they pull receipts. So, with this one video, if you've been following this guy, if you watch this guy give his commentary, if you care anything about integrity, if you care about the things that make a man, you can't listen. Like, you guys see him differently now, bro. So this is a correspondence between Anton and Mark Lamont Hill's people. Mark Lamont Hill had invited Anton to be on his show, Night School.
on October 15th, 2024. First of all, who is Jess Mabley? Who is Jess Mabley? Does anybody know who Jess Mabley is? Anyways, I'm gonna let y'all read it. Good morning. They sent it twice. Because I didn't respond to it the first time, so they sent it twice.
Double text, nigga.
I'm not gonna show you the number. That's not necessary.
Uh-huh.
Good morning, Mr. Daniels. My name is Jess. I'm a producer for Mark Lamont Hill. Mark would like to invite you to join him for an interview on his YouTube program, Night School. Now remember, this was October 15th, 2024. I'm hotter than fish grease. I'm on every fucking platform. I'm doing 100 million views on YouTube alone every 28 days. And Mark Lamont and his team reaches out to me. I didn't respond the first time. They doubled down. All right. Listen, this is the conversation that I want to have with y'all. We're not even going to talk about the intellect part. I'll get to that shortly also.
Let's get to that.
But these niggas is capping, bro. All of these niggas is fake. All of them are fake. I don't know who he is. Who is he? I'm confused. What are you confused about, nigga? I never reached out to you. You reached out to me. I never reached out to them, which is cool. You should reach out to me. When I jump on
You
somebody's
should reach out to
platform,
me.
or when I do an interview, or when I do something, that shit hit. It go viral. Never mind. Let me read it to you guys. There's no need. You see what it is. Good morning. They doubled down. I'm a producer for Mark Lamont Hill. Mark would like to invite you to join him for an interview on his YouTube program. How they got my number, I have no clue. Because I don't just give out my phone number. This wasn't an email. This was a text message.
Goodness, you've had
This
your
wasn't
surgery.
an email.
Good to go.
This is a text
Thank
message.
goodness you've
okay?
had your
We're
surgery.
good to
I'd like
go.
to join you.
So I'm gonna leave that there, right? Let me tell you something. When someone will lie with that kind of veracity, is that the right word? I'm sorry, that kind of intensity. You heard him growling. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Niggas who are into that leftist ideologies and whatnot, the type of niggas gonna sit across from you and argue whether or not a nigga should be able to go into a bathroom with kids and women and stuff like that because you decide today that you a girl. A lot of times, those are awkward people right? A lot of times, like those are the kind of people who are very different, and they don't realize that. No, you have a bias because you always sympathize with other freaks. You sympathize with people who are weird and who are the outcast. And I'm not saying that Mark Lamont Hill is necessarily weird, but I can imagine for a woman, you know what I mean? You may give scaring the bitches type vibes, right? But there was this is a scary thing when someone could just, again, on cue, because he made it seem as though he wasn't ready for the conversation, and he got passionate. He started going in on Mr. McKnight. Now, half the things he said, we don't know if that actually happened. It sounds believable, and maybe